Before we are thinkers, feelers, or actors in the world, we are bodies. This physical form you inhabit right now is not merely a vessel carrying your consciousness around. It is the fundamental medium, the very substance through which you experience existence itself. Your every thought, your deepest emotions, the slightest sensation, all emerge through and with this embodied nature. Yet, this most intimate reality often fades from our awareness, becoming invisible precisely because it is always, inescapably present. Welcome back to The Human Experience, a life contemplation. Having explored consciousness as the ground of all experience, we now turn to embodiment, the tangible, physical dimension through which that consciousness manifests and engages with the world. Our bodies are not simply objects we have, like possessions, but the very condition of our being here. They profoundly shape how we perceive, think, feel, and connect in ways both obvious and incredibly subtle. Laughing with friends on the bus. The body is simultaneously mundane and miraculous, a universe of cells coordinating with staggering complexity to create the continuous, flowing experience of being alive. Today, we'll delve into this embodied nature, examining how our physicality fundamentally shapes our experience and understanding of ourselves and the world around us. There are two fundamentally different ways to understand this body we inhabit. First, there's the objective body, the anatomical structure studied by medicine, the biological machine that can be measured, weighed, and quantified. This is the body seen as an object, observed from the outside. Then, crucially, there's the lived body, the body as experienced from within. This is the body as the center of our world, the immediate medium through which we feel, perceive, and act. This isn't the body we have, but the body we are. The French philosopher Maurice Merleau-Ponty drew a vital distinction between these, the body object and the body subject. The body object can be dissected, scanned, analyzed. The body subject, however, is the locus of experience itself. It can't be fully reduced to its parts because it's the very means by which we encounter anything at all. Consider a simple act like preparing food or taking a drink. Objectively, yes, it involves motor neurons firing, muscles contracting, joints moving according to biomechanical principles. But from within, we simply live this action. We don't consciously calculate the distance or command each individual muscle fiber. We experience what philosophers call bodily intentionality, that innate sense our body has, acting before conscious deliberation, knowing how to navigate and engage with the world around us. It's the body's direct, intuitive grasp of its situation. This difference becomes starkly evident during illness or injury. When you're healthy, your body often operates seamlessly in the background. It's the transparent medium through which you engage. But when pain or limitation arises, the body announces itself, often forcefully. It becomes present in a new, unavoidable way, as restriction, as vulnerability, as an object demanding attention and care. Modern medicine achieves wonders through its objective lens. Yet, something vital is lost if we only see the body as a machine. The challenge for truly holistic healthcare, and indeed for our own self-understanding, is to hold both perspectives, appreciating the body as a complex biological system and honoring it as the irreplaceable source of our lived experience. We often draw a sharp line between thinking and doing, placing the mind in the driver's seat and the body as merely the vehicle carrying out orders. But a growing wave of understanding suggests this split fundamentally misrepresents how we actually think. Our cognition doesn't just happen in our brains. It emerges through our entire embodied being interacting with the world. Think about expertise. The pianist whose fingers seem to possess their own wisdom, finding intricate patterns without conscious plotting. The rock climber whose body intuitively discovers holds and balances that logic alone couldn't find. The surgeon whose skilled hands respond with precision faster than deliberate thought. These aren't just examples of a brain commanding a passive body. They showcase thinking that happens within and through physical action itself.
The traditional view saw the brain as the central processor, sending commands outward. But we now understand cognition as fundamentally embodied and inactive. The body isn't just a passive receiver or executor. It actively structures how we perceive and think. Our physical abilities, our limitations, the way we move and interact with our environment, these experiences shape our conceptual systems right from the very beginning.
Even our most abstract thoughts are often grounded in physical experience. Our language is rich with embodied metaphors. We grasp ideas, face challenges, feel warm affection, carry heavy responsibilities, look forward to the future. These aren't just figures of speech. They reflect how fundamental physical experiences, like holding, facing, temperature, weight, direction, provide the scaffolding for our conceptual understanding. Neuroscience lends growing support to this view. Processing language about actions, even metaphorical actions like kicking off a project, activates motor regions in the brain. Understanding concepts linked to senses engages our perceptual systems. The body isn't merely waiting for orders from a detached mind. It's an active, integral participant in the thinking process. This embodied dimension surfaces even in complex reasoning. When we explain intricate concepts, we gesture, not just to communicate outwardly, but often to help ourselves shape and grasp the thought. When wrestling with a difficult problem, our physical posture, subtle movements, even the space we're in, can either facilitate or hinder insight. Our bodies aren't just containers for minds. They are essential components of the entire cognitive system. Emotions, too, are not purely mental events. They are profoundly, inescapably embodied experiences. Think of fear. The racing heart, the shallow breath, tense muscles, heightened senses scanning for danger. Or consider deep joy. The feeling of lightness, the lifted posture, the relaxed face, the urge to move or expand. These physical shifts aren't just side effects of the emotion. They are fundamental, constitutive parts of what it feels like to be afraid or joyful. The pioneering psychologist William James famously proposed that the feeling of emotion might actually follow our bodily responses, rather than causing them. We don't run because we are afraid, he suggested. Perhaps we feel afraid because we notice our body is running, heart pounding. While modern views see a more complex, dynamic interplay, a constant feedback loop between brain, body, and appraisal, James' insight powerfully highlights the essential role of the physical in emotional experience.
Oh, Zuja, the fortress is your mind.
This embodied understanding of emotion has direct, practical value. By consciously shifting our physical state, through mindful breathing, changing our posture, engaging in specific movements, we can often influence our emotional landscape. Practices like yoga, tai chi, martial arts, and various somatic therapies work directly with this body-emotion connection to foster self-awareness, resilience, and emotional regulation. Contemporary neuroscience confirms this integrated picture. Emotional processing isn't confined to isolated emotion centers in the brain. It involves intricate, continuous communication between the brain, the autonomic nervous system, the endocrine system, hormones, and the body's feedback signals. Our interoceptive system, our awareness of internal bodily states like heartbeat, breath, gut feelings, plays a crucial role not just in feeling emotions, but also in guiding our decisions and sense of self. Perhaps take a moment now, simply notice the physical sensations present in your body as you listen. The contact with your seat, the rhythm of your breath. Just a brief, curious check-in with your own lived body. Importantly, while the capacity for embodied emotion is universal, how emotions are experienced and expressed physically is significantly shaped by culture and individual learning. Different societies develop unique feeling rules and display norms. These influence not just how emotions are shown outwardly, but can subtly shape the internal bodily experience itself. Our emotional body doesn't exist in a vacuum. It's formed within specific social and cultural contexts. Our bodies are never truly private or solely individual possessions. They exist, from birth to death, within social fields that constantly shape how we experience, use, and understand our physicality. From the very first moments of life, physical touch, holding, and attunement with caregivers literally sculpt our developing nervous systems and lay the foundation for social connection. Throughout life, our embodied presence continues to be formed and reformed through countless interactions. Notice how bodies often unconsciously synchronize during conversation. Postures might align, breathing patterns subtly harmonize, gestures echo one another. This bodily attunement isn't just a byproduct of communication. It's often foundational to building rapport and mutual understanding. Before words are fully processed, our bodies are already in a subtle dialogue, signaling safety, interest, or tension. Our embodiment is also profoundly molded by cultural norms. Each society cultivates particular ways of standing, walking, gesturing, maintaining eye contact, touching or not touching, and occupying space. These aren't merely external rules, but become woven into our very being, internalized as what sociologist Pierre Bourdieu called habitus. These are deeply ingrained, often unconscious, ways of carrying and using our bodies that feel completely natural or just the way things are, simply because they've been learned so thoroughly from our surroundings since childhood. Gender provides a potent example of this social shaping. From a very young age, often unconsciously, individuals are encouraged, guided, or constrained towards certain ways of moving, occupying space, gesturing, and physically expressing themselves based on assigned gender roles prevalent in their culture. What often feels like an inherently masculine or feminine way of being in the body is frequently the result of years of subtle social learning, reinforcement, and imitation. Similarly, think about the invisible boundaries of personal space. The comfortable distance for conversation, the acceptability of casual touch, norms around bodily display. These vary dramatically across cultures, subcultures, and even specific situations. What feels like appropriate and respectful embodiment in one context might be perceived as intrusive or aloof in another. Our seemingly most personal bodily space is constantly negotiated within these social dimensions. The ideal or socially valued body also shifts dramatically across history and cultures. Physical features or body types celebrated in one era or society might be ignored or even stigmatized in another. Think of changing fashions in physique, attitudes towards aging, or the evolving visibility and acceptance of diverse body types and abilities. These shifting norms powerfully remind us that there is no single, universally natural, or perfect body outside of particular social and historical contexts. Our bodies are not fixed objects, but dynamic, living processes in constant transformation. This happens at every level, from the microscopic, where most of our cells are replaced many times over a lifetime, to the visible changes in size, shape, strength, and capability that mark our journey through life. Embodiment is fundamentally characterized by flux and change. Some of these transformations we actively pursue and cultivate. Think of dedicated physical training, whether for athletics, dance, martial arts, music, or a skilled craft. Through deliberate, focused practice, we reshape not only our muscles and neural pathways, but our very capacities for perception, action, and interaction with the world. The trained body doesn't just perform differently. It often experiences the world differently, with heightened sensitivities and new possibilities for action. Other transformations unfold largely outside our direct control. Aging is perhaps the most universal of these, an ongoing process that naturally alters our physical capacities, appearance, and internal sensations. While often framed negatively in cultures obsessed with youth, aging can also bring its own unique embodied wisdom. Perhaps a shift in perspective, changing priorities, a deeper acceptance, or sometimes a more finely tuned awareness of bodily needs and rhythms. Illness and injury can trigger more sudden, often challenging embodied transformations. These experiences frequently strip away the illusion of bodily transparency, revealing the extent to which we've taken specific abilities for granted. They often require us to fundamentally renegotiate our relationship with our bodies, discovering resilience and developing new ways of being embodied and navigating the world. Such experiences can be profound, albeit difficult, teachers about adaptability, interdependence, and the vast diversity of valid human embodiments. Technology increasingly intersects with embodiment, extending and altering our physical possibilities. From sophisticated prosthetics that become felt as part of the self, to virtual and augmented reality systems that expand the boundaries of perceived space and interaction, these developments blur the lines between body, tool, and environment. They raise fascinating questions about the inherent plasticity of our embodied experience. Finally, contemplative practices like mindfulness and meditation offer powerful methods for transforming our relationship with embodiment from the inside out. Through sustained, gentle attention to physical sensations, the breath, points of contact, subtle shifts within, we can cultivate greater interoceptive awareness. This crucial ability to finely sense and understand signals from within our own bodies has been strongly linked to improved emotional regulation, clearer decision-making, reduced stress, and a greater overall sense of well-being and presence. We began by stating that we are bodies. Throughout this exploration, we've journeyed beyond seeing the body as a mere object we possess, recognizing it instead as the fundamental medium through which we exist, perceive, think, feel, connect, and transform. From the vital distinction between the objective and the lived body, to the deeply embodied nature of thought, emotion, and our social existence, we've seen how our physicality shapes every conceivable dimension of the human experience. In our next episode, we'll build directly on this foundation of embodiment to explore perception and the senses. We'll delve into the remarkable ways these channels allow our embodied consciousness to encounter and make sense of the world. We will discover that perception is far from a passive recording of reality. It's an active, interpretive, and creative process, profoundly shaped by our biology, our experiences, and the body we inhabit. Until then, I invite you to carry forward a simple practice from today's exploration. Just occasionally, pause briefly throughout your day. Gently bring your awareness back to the simple, direct sensation of being embodied. Not analyzing or judging, but simply noticing. The feeling of your feet on the ground, the rhythm of your breath, the subtle aliveness that is always present. This gentle return to embodied presence is always available, offering a direct path into the fullness of the present moment.
Clever hands and knowing eyes fix the parts beneath the sky. Is the blueprint all we are? Just a code, a distant star. Need to hold both ways to see the human heart, the mystery, the system and the soul. Soft call to truly understand it all. Appreciate the measured part and honor the experiential heart. More than numbers on a chart is the pulse beneath the skin, the electric sudden start of the world we're living in. Every breath a whispered plea, every touch a memory, something vital, warm and true, shining out from me and you. 'Cause is the blueprint all we are? Just a code, a distant star. Need to hold both ways to see the human heart, the mystery, the system and the soul. Soft call to truly understand it all. Appreciate the measured part and honor the experiential heart. Touch, the patient's tear, the doubt, the hope, the rising fear. Not just pathways gone awry, but the question asking why. Need the knowledge and the grace to meet within this fragile space. Hold them both, the chart, the face. Hold them both, time and space. The measured and the lived, the source of all we